There was once a man traveling the lonely road from Jerusalem down to Jericho. It was not a short walk, it was not a safe walk, and it was certainly not an easy walk. The road stretched through rocky hills, twisting and turning, climbing high and falling low. Sharp stones jutted out on either side. Narrow passes forced travelers to close to the edge of the cliffs. The sun, burning hot above, made the air heavy. Dust rose with each step and clung to skin and clothing. This road had a reputation. People knew it well. It was called the Way of Blood because so many had been attacked along its path. Thieves and bandits lurked among the rocks, waiting in silence, watching for someone traveling alone. But the man went on. Perhaps he had family waiting for him in Jericho. Perhaps he carried goods to sell. Perhaps his heart was simply set on reaching the city before nightfall. Whatever his reason, he pressed forward, steady, determined, watchful. Then suddenly, without warning, shadows leapt from the rocks. Robbers. They rushed him before he could flee. Rough hands struck him. Voices shouted angrily. His robe was torn from his body, his belongings snatched away. They beat him with cruelty, blow after blow, until he collapsed upon the ground. His cries were swallowed by the wilderness. Dust rose and settled again. And then when they had taken all he had, they left him there, alone, wounded, bleeding, half dead on the roadside. The man lay still, broken, unable to rise. The sun burned down mercilessly, and his strength drained away. His lips cracked with thirst, his eyes blurred with pain. Every breath was shallow, fragile. Would anyone come? Would anyone stop? After some time, footsteps echoed on the road. A priest was traveling the same path. His robe flowed behind him. His head was lifted high. He was a man respected by many, chosen to serve in the temple of the Lord. People honored him for his position, for his knowledge, for his holy duties. From a distance, he saw something ahead, a shape in the dust, a man lying still. The priest slowed. He couldn't see. He could see the wounds, the torn clothing, the blood. He could see enough to know that this traveler was in desperate need. But the priest hesitated. What if the robbers are still near? He may have thought. What if this is a trap, a trick to lure me close? Even if he lives, he's covered in blood. To touch him would make me unclean. I have duties to perform. People are waiting for me. I cannot risk this. And so he did not come near. He crossed the road, walked on the other side. He passed by. His footsteps grew faint in the distance, leaving only silence once more. The wounded man stared faintly. His hope flickered like a candle nearly gone. Then, after some time, another set of footsteps approached. A Levite. He too was one who served in the temple, respected, honored, considered a man of God. Surely this one would stop. Surely he would care. The Levite came close enough to see the man in pain. He looked. He paused. His shadow fell across the body. But again, fear whispered. Doubt spoke. Concern for his own life outweighed compassion. Someone else will help him, he may have thought. I cannot delay my journey. I cannot take on his suffering. I must think of myself. And so, the Levite too crossed to the other side. He walked quickly, passing by. Two men of faith, two men who knew God's law, two men who should have helped, and yet both turned away. The man lay still, his wounds burned, his body ached, his strength failed. The silence returned, the loneliness pressed heavy. Would anyone come? Would anyone care? At last, another traveler appeared on the road. This man was a Samaritan. Now the people of Jerusalem and the Samaritans were divided by deep hatred. They worshipped differently, they quarreled bitterly. Many Jews would not even speak to a Samaritan, nor share food or water with one. They were considered outsiders, unworthy, despised. And yet, when the Samaritan saw the wounded man lying in the dust, his heart was moved. He did not see an enemy. He did not see a stranger unworthy of love. He saw a man in need. Compassion filled him. He hurried forward. He knelt beside the man. He touched him without fear. Take courage, he may have whispered. You are not alone. I will help you. The Samaritan opened his bag. From his own provisions, he drew oil and wine. With gentle care, he poured oil to soothe the wounds and wine to cleanse them. He tore strips of cloth, binding the broken flesh. Then he lifted the man, weak, trembling, near death, and placed him upon his own donkey. The Samaritan walked on foot, steadying the animal, making sure the man did not fall. Step by step, mile by mile, the, he guided him along the hard road until at last they reached an inn. The Samaritan brought the man inside. He laid him upon a bed. He stayed through the night, watching over him. He gave him water to drink, food to restore his strength, rest for his weary body. He did not leave him alone. He did not abandon him once he was safe inside. He remained until morning. When the sun rose and the Samaritan prepared to continue his journey, he called the innkeeper, placed money in the innkeeper's hand. Take care of him, he said. See that he has what he needs. If you spend more than this, I will repay you when I return. The Samaritan asked for nothing in return. He did not seek thanks. He did not seek recognition. His only concern was mercy. Mercy for one in desperate need. And Jesus, when he told this story, asked those listening, which of these three, the priest, the Levite, or the Samaritan, proved to be a neighbor to the man who fell among thieves? The answer was clear, the one who showed mercy. And Jesus said, go and do likewise. Today, I shared a story they probably heard before, but I want us to slow it down a bit, really picture it, and think about it like it's happening right in front of us. So here's the scene. There's a man, just an ordinary man, traveling from Jerusalem down to Jericho. Now I want you to imagine that road with me. It's not just a simple street. It's a winding path through rocky hills with cliffs on either side and dust rising under the hot sun. The kind of place that makes you want to pause and double check every step because, you know, anyone walking alone could easily get into trouble. This isn't some quiet stroll, it's rough terrain, and people who knew the area even called it the Way of Blood. That name alone should tell you something, right? It wasn't for nothing. Travelers have been attacked there before, and the danger was real. So this man is walking, probably thinking about where he's going. Maybe family waiting for him, maybe he has goods to deliver, maybe he's just trying to get to the city before nightfall. He's focused, careful, trying to watch the path and his surroundings. But there's nowhere to predict what's about to happen. And then, suddenly, it does happen. Shadows jump from the rocks. Robbers. They appear out of nowhere, like they've been waiting for him the whole time. And they're fast, violent. They strike him, take his possessions, and leave him lying there, beaten, bleeding, and half dead. Imagine that. One moment you're walking, maybe thinking about the day ahead, and the next, your life has been violently interrupted, and you're left completely vulnerable. Now, he's there on the roadside, alone, the sun blazing above, dust clinging to his skin, and he's trying just to breathe. His strength is gone, and it's not just physical pain, it's mental, emotional. He's lying there, thinking, is anyone coming? Will anyone stop? And I want you to hold that image for a moment, because it's heavy, it's real. And then, after some time, footsteps echo along the road. A priest appears. Now, a priest is someone you'd think would help immediately, right? He's respected, trusted, seen as a man of God. You'd expect them to stop, to see the man in need, and rush to help. But here's the thing, he hesitates, and we can almost see him thinking, can't we? What if the robbers are still around? What if I touch this man and I become unclean? I have duties. People are counting on me. Can I risk myself? And so, he doesn't. He crosses to the other side and he walks past. Just like that, he leaves the man there. No one wants to imagine that, but it's part of the story. It makes you uncomfortable, right? Because we know he had the chance and he didn't take it. The wounded man barely has time to process this. And then, not long after, another figure approaches, a Levite, another person who serves in the temple, another respected individual. Surely this one will stop. Surely this one will do something. But again, hesitation. He looks at the man, he sees the wounds, sees the blood, sees the need, and yet maybe his thoughts go something like, someone else will help. I can't risk my schedule. Can't take on this burden right now. I have my duties. And so the priest, like the priest, he passes by on the other side, leaves the man still there, broken and alone. Two men of faith, both turned away. And it's heavy to even think about that, isn't it? Because in our minds, we wonder what would we do. And now, after the silence and despair, another figure appears on the road. This one is different. He's a Samaritan. And we have to pause here because in the context of the time, Jews and Samaritans were deeply divided. They despised one another. Many wouldn't even speak, let alone show kindness. And yet, this man sees the wounded traveler, and he feels something stir in his heart. Compassion, mercy, not fear, not judgment, not avoidance. just a recognition of need and a desire to help. So he walks over, kneels behind him, and without hesitation begins to help. He pours oil and wine over the wounds, wraps the injuries with strips of cloth, carefully tending to each hurt and gash. Then he lifts the man onto his own donkey, walks beside him, making sure he doesn't fall, guiding the animal along the rough path. Step by step, mile by mile, he carries his burden with patience, care, and attention. And when they reach an inn, he ensures the man is laid on a bed, gives him water and food, stays to watch over him through the night, and before leaving, he gives the innkeeper money to take care of the man. If more is spent, he promises to repay it. And then, without asking for thanks or recognition, he continues his journey. And here's what I want you to notice. The Samaritan didn't stop to think about what will I get or how will this affect me. He saw someone in need and acted. He saw suffering and responded. That's the core of the story. And Jesus, when he told it, asked, which of these three proved to be a neighbor to the man who fell among thieves? And the answer is clear. The one who showed mercy, the one who acted, the one who reached out when everyone else turned away. Now let's step back for a moment and think about this. It's easy to hear this story and nod along, but what does it really mean for us today? How often do we pass by opportunities to help someone, whether it's in small ways or big ways, because we're busy, because we're afraid, or because it's inconvenient? How often do we see suffering and turn our heads? And how different would the world be if we acted like the Samaritan, noticing the need, responding with care, offering help without waiting for recognition or reward? Imagine for a moment the details that the story doesn't even tell us, but we can picture. Imagine the road itself, rocky, dusty, hot, unforgiving. Imagine walking there alone down that path and seeing someone lying there. Your first thought might be caution. You might hesitate. You might weigh risks versus reward. And that's exactly what the priest and the Levite did. They were cautious. They were careful. But the Samaritan, he chose action. He chose mercy over fear. He chose humanity over indifference. Think about the inner experience of the wounded man, lying there, bleeding, in pain, probably thinking this is the end. Maybe he called out, maybe he prayed silently, and then the first two passed by. Can you feel that? The despair, the loneliness, the fear. And then, finally, someone stops. Finally, someone acts. Finally, he's not alone. That's powerful. That's life changing. And that's what mercy feels like. It shows up when you least expect it. It changes a situation completely and comes without expectation. I also want us to notice the care in the details. The Samaritan didn't just stop. He didn't just bandage a wound. He poured oil and wine. He wrapped the injuries carefully. He lifted him onto a donkey. He walked beside him. He made sure he was safe at an inn, and he even paid for his care. That's patience there. There's diligence. There's thoughtfulness. That's not a rush job. That's an act of love. That's how we should think about helping others. It's not just a token gesture. It's real, attentive care. And the story ends with a question, doesn't it? Jesus asked, which of these three was a neighbor? And the answer is obvious. But it's not just a story from long ago. It's a story for today, for now, for each of us. It challenges us. It makes us examine how we treat those in need, those who are suffering, those who are alone. It asks us quietly but firmly. Are we acting like the priest? Are we acting like the Levite? Or are we acting like the Samaritan? And so, as we sit with this story, let's think about the people around us. Maybe it's a friend going through something hard. Maybe it's a stranger in need of kindness. Maybe it's someone we pass by every day and barely notice. The question remains, how will we respond? Will we stop? Will we act? Will we show mercy when it matters most? And the beauty of the story, the real power, is that showing mercy doesn't require recognition. You don't need a medal. You don't need applause. You don't need to tell anyone what you did. You simply act because it's the right thing to do. That's the message. That's the heart of the story. That's why it has lasted all these years. Because it's not about a man on a road in a faraway time. It's about all of us, every day, in the choices we make, in the way we treat others, in how we respond to suffering around us. So take a moment and picture it one last time. The road from Jerusalem to Jericho, the man lying there, broken and bleeding, the priest and the Levite passing by, and then the Samaritan, kneeling, pouring oil and wine, binding the wounds, lifting the man onto his donkey, walking beside him, guiding him to safety, paying for his care, and walking away without asking for anything in return. That's the image to hold on to. That's the lesson. That's the story we carry with us. And when Jesus finished telling it, he said something simple but profound. Go and do likewise. Not go and wait for someone else to do it. Not go and pick and choose, but simply go and do likewise. That's our challenge. That's our call. That's our chance to be the neighbor, to show mercy, to act when others might walk by. And if we can keep that in our hearts, if we can remember that story, not just as a tale from the past, but as a call in the present, then we're living it, we're carrying it forward, and we're making the world a little better, one act of mercy at a time. Sometimes, when I think about mercy, I realize how easy it is to overlook it in our everyday lives. We walk through our days busy with schedules, responsibilities, obligations, and often, when someone around us is hurting, we look the other way. We convince ourselves we're too tired, too busy, too preoccupied. But mercy isn't about convenience. It's not about comfort. It's about noticing the need in front of us and acting, even when it's inconvenient, even when it costs us something. Mercy begins with seeing, not just looking, but truly seeing. When we see another person suffering, their struggle, their brokenness, it sparks something inside us. Maybe it's discomfort, maybe it's guilt, maybe it's compassion. But that spark is the beginning. And then it's followed by action. It's followed by choice. Will we act or will we walk by? Will we step in, even when it costs us, or will we prioritize our own ease? That's the test of mercy. And let's be honest, acting with mercy is not always easy. It requires courage, it requires patience. Sometimes it means giving of our time, our energy, our resources, and even our reputation. Sometimes it means standing in a place of discomfort or stepping into a situation we'd rather avoid, but the impact is enormous. The act of mercy is transformative, not only for the person receiving it, but for the person giving it. It shapes hearts, strengthens communities, and restores hope where despair has taken root. Think about moments in your life when someone extended mercy to you. Maybe it was a friend who listened to you when you felt unseen. Maybe it was a family member who forgave you when you didn't deserve it. Maybe it was a stranger who acted out of kindness when you were vulnerable. Those moments stick with us, don't they? They shape us. They teach us what it means to care, what it means to love, and what it means to be human. Mercy is practical too. It's not just a feeling or a thought, it's a decision and it's action. It's the small gestures, the everyday choice, the willingness to step forward when others might step back. It's making a plan, thinking ahead, ensuring that the help you give has real impact. True mercy is intentional. It doesn't rely on recognition or applause. It doesn't need a validation. It simply meets need with love and care. And the beauty of mercy is that it's available to all of us. It's not reserved for the exceptional, the wealthy, or the powerful. It doesn't require fame, status, or authority. It requires only a willing heart and a decision to act. Every single one of us can show mercy today, right now, in ways that make a difference. Sometimes it's obvious, helping someone in clear need. Sometimes it's subtle, listening patiently, speaking words of encouragement, offering forgiveness, and sometimes it's persistent, staying beside someone through a difficult journey until they are safe, stable, and restored. There's also a lesson in timing. Mercy isn't always about immediate results. Sometimes it's about showing up and trusting that your actions, no matter how small, will ripple outward in ways you cannot see. A kind word, a thoughtful gesture, a deliberate act of help. These things can grow into hope, restoration, and healing. Mercy plants seeds, and seeds, when nurtured, can change the world. So today, as we reflect on the story we've walked through, the story of a man beaten and left for dead, the story of those who walked by and the one who stopped, let us take it personally. What roads do we travel where we encounter need? Where do we see suffering that calls for action? And how will we respond? Will we cross to the other side? Or will we act? Will we step in with care and go the extra mile, even if it's inconvenient, even if it costs something, even if no one notices? I want you to imagine the impact of consistent mercy. Imagine a world where we choose action over indifference, compassion over avoidance, love over fear. Imagine neighborhoods, workplaces, families, and communities where people notice the need and respond. Imagine the lives transformed, the hope restored, the trust rebuilt. Mercy has power. It changes situations, shapes hearts, and restores humanity. It can seem small in the moment, but its effect is extraordinary. And finally, remember this: mercy is a choice, and it's contagious. When we act mercifully, others are inspired to do the same. One act of kindness leads to another. One decision to step in when others walk past can ripple far beyond our imagination. And it doesn't stop with strangers. Mercy touches friends, family, coworkers, neighbors, everyone whose path intersects with ours. Every time we choose mercy, we are shaping a better world, one small act at a time. So, as you leave this reflection today, as you move through your life, look for the opportunities. Notice the deeds. Step in, act, and care. Be the person who shows up when others might walk by. Be the one who chooses love over indifference, action over hesitation. And when you do, you'll understand the heart of the story. You'll see that mercy is not just a story from long ago, but a living, breathing practice, a way of life, a call to humanity. And now, the words to carry with you, the challenge and the encouragement, the final call: go and do likewise.